far.
Well,
Yeah, you'll All right, we'd like to call the meeting to order, September 3rd, 2025, of the Grange County Drainage Board. And I have a motion to adopt the agenda with flexibility.
I move adopt the agenda with flexibility.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any additions or corrections to the minutes from the previous meeting? I entertain a motion to accept them as presented.
I move to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. New business, right away application. None. Is that real?
Whoa.
All right. Bids, Zach?
This project, I'd like to get approval pending NDOT and the county highway approval too, because we have to cross 700 South and State Road 3 with the stream project. So we got basically, we sent 4 or 5 bid packets out. 4. Received 2 bids back. One from Adam Castle, Greg Owens for $149,735, and one from API Construction for $264,000 even.
Same with everyone on the side.
If you're
What
gonna-
were
I didn't get 'em till late
what were they
last night.
again?
$264,000 from API Construction, and Adam Castle, Greg Owens, $149,735. And I wouldn't mind getting approval for the Owens, Adam Castle excavating pending NDOT and county highway are okay with it. We're gonna do some scheduling with them, make sure that they're okay with the price, but this is a tile that we're gonna have to work a little quicker because the road's starting to fall into it. We can't afford really to wait too much longer. This got brought about by the highway wanting to replace a culvert, one outside the culvert to replace it with, so we went down and looked at the tile. Well, there's holes all down to the side of the road, falling in, to the, basically, there we go,
Is it 700 South on the east side of 3?
on the north side of 3, right there. From there down to where it turns south, so it's a very small stretch.
Right there by Gio Mori and
Yep.
Wood Fab.
If you walk along there, you'll lose your leg in a couple spots where there's holes right on the edge of the road, which could last a year, could last a week, but sooner or later, if something, it's either do it cheaper, do it now and fix it than later, but since this is crossing the county road and the state road for this project, part of this bill will be probably a good $50,000-$60,000. Ours will be around 90 maybe. The breakdown Sam has, I think, you have the breakdown. You can take a look at it and see. We did the road crossing section from our tile section, because they pay for those.
Could you understand?
I didn't read it.
I'm curious. Maybe this will answer it.
I haven't looked at it either. It came in.
The discrepancy. Any idea? You have a
Why there's 100,000?
Oh, API,
difference. 120,000 difference.
API will have double the staff, double the time. Just because, that's how they do things, you
Okay.
know. When you have them
That's what I
overhead.
wondered.
I was hoping they'd come at 80 or 90, but
I mean, that's a big
Have
difference.
you seen, and maybe just, Darren's not
I mean, that's
here,
over
but
twice as much right there.
they had this
There it is.
bid out and like mapped like crazy. They asked us,
It's the
or
same.
yeah,
TLS,
it's a
same
intersection
thing.
improvement, yeah.
Put it in
have
stone.
you seen those?
They're just charging
No,
twice as much.
I
More than
got
twice as
Darren out
much.
there to go over this with her. Unfortunately, the tile's gonna have to stay where it's at. This tile will go back where it's at because move it over, we don't have to cover. Move it too far over, where it's sewer lines, fiber lines, gas lines. I mean, it's like one slide there with flagged it. I'm like,
Same
so
feet.
much for going over there.
Better stone,
I thought we could just
better
tug, get away from the road
If we
a
could
little bit.
get
I mean,
a
that's
little further north, it'd be a lot.
We looked at it, it's like, we're gonna have to tear out basically almost one lane of traffic or that side of that road and put back. And then at the end, we can't curve it over, we're gonna move it north.
I mean, these amounts are lower than these,
Because they're gonna have
but-
an intersection. So NDOT's good at that too, because right now it goes right off into a hole.
Jeez.
They get over, bring it up to like
Like, do you
a
guys have
basement,
any?
surface base and have a
any
little fall there, but
requirements
not
on
to the kind
brands?
of feed
Of stone?
where
No.
all the trash or
Tile?
dead animals end up into a.
Not really.
What does that?
I know he either gets it one or two places.
Usually you get, I think you get your
So-
tile from Hickson, don't you, normally?
We let the contractor buy it from, we get off from Hickson's, but it depends on who
They got a
has
lot of
available
stuff.
too. I know the guy doesn't be contractors we use, they block from usually one of two places, usually depending on who can get it fastest, who has it in stock or price to.
Mhm.
So I let them, Noble County's different. The surveyor's office buys all the tile. They just like doing that, and that's why they do things. I think they get gift cards at the end of the year and go out to dinner. So, I don't get to do
Blame
that.
'em?
Do you guys have any problems with Castle and Owens?
No, Greg and Adam, the work that I've always done with them and seen them do, they do good work.
And this, we'll make this pending
Right.
approval. We're okay with doing it, that we're pending NDOT, and the highway's okay with it, and we're gonna coordinate it with them. Because NDOT, they're on a really tight budget, so we got like their month to month on payments. They would know what we're doing, how much it's gonna cost before we can get,
Is this gonna be like next spring,
open to do it
this fall?
after harvest. I hate doing it in spring. You ever seen that place in spring?
You ever seen it during harvest?
I mean, no, the tile.
Oh,
Yeah, I care less about
spring rains.
a harvest hour. Like traffic's one thing, but the tile itself, when it falls in, we close the road immediately when it fails. That's way worse than scheduling it and doing it. So we got to do it when conditions are right, because this 24-inch tile runs clear full and it runs a foot and a half water on top of the ground at the same time in springtime. Every time it rains hard.
So you're planning on this fall yet?
That would be ideal. Now, whether it gets done or wintertime, depending on the ground conditions. I mean, the ground freeze gets cold, not easy to do, but if it stays okay till December or early January, we'll do it.
Well, and I think Tri-State Hardwoods right there, I think they've got a lot of water going into that tile too.
Well, it goes the other way, doesn't it? Doesn't it go
No.
south?
It goes north.
Yeah. Tri-State Hardwoods all goes down this tile.
I remember when they
South.
encapsulated it.
Yeah.
It was open. When I worked there, it was
It
open.
was open.
That was 2003.
I was gonna say, how long ago was that?
2003.
You think I have a motion or?
I move to approve Castle Owens.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bids Castle and Owens pending NDOT and Highway Department approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're gonna set a record.
We're trying to.
Dan, pick out some dates for next year. If you guys want to look at these or just want to approve them. These are dates I think it's Wednesday every month. Any problems or anything, but that would make our approval, so we can at least for next year.
You guys wanna move it to the evenings instead?
I like the mornings personally.
I prefer mornings.
Too.
But,
That's kind of a joke.
okay.
All right. Anybody have a problem with these?
I like them on being on Wednesdays every day. I know this year we've had a couple Tuesdays and that's thrown people off.
So I left them all on Wednesdays. Most of them are the first Wednesday of the month, but because of other meetings and holidays, I've got 4 that are the second Wednesday of the month, but I left them all on Wednesdays.
I think it looks great.
No, I'm good.
I move to approve the proposed 2026 Drainage Board meeting dates.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve these dates for meetings. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Business.
I just want to give you guys an update. We sent Shipshawana Auction Barn letter for our motion request we had for the rock cages. I was over late last night to inspect them. They're all in. They actually went through and put on the laterals, put rock cages in, which we didn't require, but they did anyway, so that was kind of nice. And there was 3 more they're going to do. They just miscounted. So Brian, I talked to him. They're on order right now. Should be in next week or 2. One surprising thing I noticed when I was looking at them is how much stone was already in them. They haven't been on very long, and they've already emptied them a couple of times. But if you were in doubt the stone and the pipe was from the flea market, go look at those rock cages because they're filled quick, just because of the foot traffic, the grading. When it rains hard, this takes a lot of stone. And this, by looking at it, and I took the lid off and I looked at it, this will probably solve 80% of the problem, maybe 85%. There's still small stuff can get through, which we're hoping this just slows down the problem. And whether that small stuff can work its way to the tile when a big rain event, I'm not sure. Time will tell, I guess. But they're steel, pretty heavy duty. The only concern I had, I talked to Brian about this, is if they use any calcium chloride for dust or salt in winter time, they do
Is that
stuff.
stainless? Not
They're not stainless, they're steel, which I said they just won't last as long. So I'm thinking maybe 10 years, depending on how much corrosion stuff they have and how good steel it is. I mean, good steel will last a lot longer than cheap steel. It could last out 2 years, but I said just keep an eye on it. If they start to deteriorate, we'll have to replace. And then maybe a few deteriorate worse than others because they get more corrosive stuff on them. Maybe just replace those with stainless and the rest of these steel. But these were solving most of the problem, I think, and I think we'll just keep an eye on it, and maybe in a couple years we'll just camera it and see how it looks. I'm sure stone's still going to get in there. So definitely some stone working through the system, but be one of those things we'll have to address in a few more years and see what it looks like.
Did they clean, didn't the letter suggest that she cleaned the laterals?
Yeah,
Probably.
it made a suggestion. We didn't require it.
But they did cage them too.
Cage them, yes, that'll help. The thing we noticed with them is the pipes, the laterals are full of stone, or like these, 3/4 full of stone. Those are working their way down because we move the stone out of the big pipe, the stone could work its way down now. Before, the stone in the pipe and the laterals were all level. So it'll work its way into the big pipe and it can handle some, but those things, if it flushes out, we'll just keep an eye on it every couple of years. I think, Tony, do you know if we have to go through and clean this again, is there requirements for them to clean that section out?
If they didn't follow through and take care of the cages and all that
Okay.
stuff, we definitely have that in there.
Okay.
And the recommendation about the laterals is in there. So, I mean, I think we're in a much better position next time if we camera it and see that there's stone there and it's from the laterals and things like that. So we can at least talk to them beforehand about how we're gonna do it.
Okay, because I have a feeling we cleaned the whole one branch where the pond was flooding. That's pretty, I think it'll work for quite a while. We did not clean the branch going this way, which just has a lot more stone in it. The only difference there is it floods themselves out the flea market, the back section will basically put water on themselves by not having to clean. So it's not quite as big a deal as having $1,000,000 house and $100,000 house around a pond that was flooding because of this one. So,
That's great.
so if you guys have more questions on that, I told Brian I was come over and check those last 3 basins in a couple weeks or a month or so to make sure they're in there. He said that's fine. He said, and they're pretty easy to empty out. They've been emptied out a couple times already. The only problem they had was one of the main parking lot. The parking lot did flood because the strainer got plugged full of cigarette butts
Cigarette butts.
because they float.
Then
Well, it's about the size, just smaller than a cigarette butt. I mean, just about, if you have a dry cigarette butt fit through it, the waterlogged one will not.
I didn't realize
Serious?
that tight.
They're tight. I've
Yeah.
I've
It's
seen
not-
it.
it's about the size of a cigarette, but the cigarette that's been on the ground and the water on it will expand. So he said that he didn't realize how many cigarette butts people put out in the driveway until they had that issue. So
And the cigarette butts are in our tile.
yeah,
Or not now.
There's one of them.
so you guys have more
It's in there's sawdust, cigarette butts, stones. There's a plastic spoon, bottle caps. I mean, they're working. And the thing is, when they flood,
Don't know, clean them out because this will restrict the water.
they don't keep them clean. That's what happens. That's after a half inch of rain.
So, I'd say in a couple of years,
That's-
we'll camera it again
Oh,
and
yeah.
verify how things are looking. And
They're working.
you guys have any questions on that?
No, I didn't expect them to be that tight.
Tight.
The holes are 1/4 inch.
Yes,
I expected them to be quite a bit bigger.
I figured they would be 2. I would.
Anything smaller, we'll see how it operates, but that catches the bigger stones that don't move. They fall there, they don't move. They just sit there and compile up. So that was because if you look at the pictures, a lot of it was big aggregate. There's some fines in there because the fines
Mhm.
packed on the aggregate. But hopefully this finer stuff can go to flush the system like it does in their tile system. So,
Mhm.
excellent.
Wow.
Old business, another one. We had, this is back been a while ago. Urban Bontrager had a retreat on the ditch bank that you guys were requesting to remove no later than September 9th. I've been out talking to him.
Was that the cabin?
Well, yeah, Martin, that's not your cabin. It's a retreat, I call it. But,
It's a bigger cabin.
it's a foundation, and it's like it's nicer than my house. But I talked to him and for a couple hours, and when I was out there, they're actually hauling stone. And I was out there and they poured the foundation to measure, make sure that he's 95 foot away from his new foundation. They were planning on moving it last week or this week. I haven't been out there to check if they got moved yet, but it's going to be a little process getting it over there, but,
Doesn't it just sit on like a floating slab?
yeah.
Okay.
But it's almost worse because you gotta somehow
Yeah.
big pound the slab out and get supports underneath it. It was on a crawl space, you just shove something underneath it, jack it up and roll it over there, but whatever the case, he's in the process of moving that, so I'll check that for the next meeting, make sure, but the foundation says he poured it, so I assume he's on his way, but he did what we tell you guys, he was perfectly fine with moving it, it was his fault. Had he came through the channels, he would have been able to pound that, so I told him it wasn't necessarily his house, it was everybody else's house comes after, it's gonna be the bigger problem. So he was understanding of that, had a nice discussion with him, so I wanted to update on that. Two more things real quick here, I've been dealing with, Gilbert's been working on Turkey Creek, pulling up log jams. We've had some upset people here and there.
by you.
I guess
Sorry.
there's one landowner in particular that owns 5 acres down Turkey Creek that I spent a Sunday from 11 to 1 with him talking. He called me in a panic that they were going to come through there, which we're planning on it. He does agree the log jams need to come out because they're a big problem in the creek. He just, his way of doing it was just not real conducive to actually doing it that way, but he wanted to preserve all the trees in those banks, which you can work around some, but not all, but there's a couple mulberries, a couple we could probably leave, but he said if we go through there and do anything, he's got money and he'll sue us. He has no problem doing that. And I'm kind of at a catch-22 of like, we have the right to go in, we need to do it, he's agreeing with that. I asked him, do you want to do it yourself and get him out? He said, well, I don't do that. I said, well, the contractor will do it how he feels fit and safe because the banks are very high. You have to have room to swing the excavator. And the last thing I want is somebody to roll an excavator off that bank into that creek and kill themselves over trying to save a mulberry tree. So I look at it as, I told him, I said, the contractor is going to do more than he has to. So it's a Brian Milliman.
Lives in South Carolina.
He's just across from the Pearson property. Just, he owns 5 acres there.
Just across.
Just
South,
south.
there.
South of
The gate
275.
Growing out.
Somebody
I'll
was
pull the
going,
map, same real quick, 275.
using an excavator and clearing the trees there last week.
Yeah, that's good. Where's their work?
Gilbert's.
They're next to Brian's. I went on that property yet.
I didn't realize that was them. I wondered who that was. The mini and the mulching in.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty.
That thing's pretty sweet.
Yeah, someone I couldn't understand that. So it's just a little tile, yeah. So there's a little section. It's
Oh,
5
they're in the
acres.
south.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
Give a little more sand. Right there, yep.
I surveyed that. 15 years.
Is there a house on this property? Is it just,
A few years ago, now there's really nothing. I guess a little campsite, a little camp up to it comes up on the weekends here and there, but,
what, is it used
power
for
back there,
deer
used to
hunt
be
or
a well,
something?
but it's all been, kind of abandoned.
Is that the only parcel they own?
He owns a parcel just,
He
to the-
did?
it's a different section of, himself.
Right before you were born.
That makes sense.
So just-
Now Kaufman owns it.
So we're kind of at a stalemate. I told Gilbert was just work around it. We're working on parts of the creek, but how do you guys want me to go about addressing this? Because I have a feeling after talking for 2 hours on a Sunday, no matter what we do, he's not going to be happy. At one point in the conversation, there was a mulberry that fell over on the ditch bank that we'd have to track across and move it. It's been sitting there for 5 years. He wanted to know if we could preserve that feature of the property. And I'm like, well, I just don't think so. You know what I mean? But I at this point, I don't know how to deal with it because do we just go in there and do what we want to do and just stuff notifications? You want Tony to address, say, hey, we have the right to come in here? I don't know what to do.
I mean, that's my standard recommendation at this point is gonna be, let's send them a letter, say 10 days. If you give us a plan that you're gonna do it yourself, great. Otherwise, we're coming through because we have the right to do it. And then that gives him time to file an injunction or a lawsuit if he wants to, but
We have every right to do it, don't we?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
So I just don't want to get in a thing where Zach, you should have done something first. So I want you guys to make a decision here because this is the only landowner that's threatened to, he has money.
Getting smarter, Zach.
Zach.
You're getting smarter.
If he has the money, then just clean it himself.
Well-
I mean, come on.
I asked him
Well,
that.
We don't typically allow on
Right.
unregulated drains unless it's under your supervision.
Correct. If he wants, if he wants
And this
to
is a
clean-
big one.
If he wants to clean himself, I can go out and watch, make sure he pulls the stuff out from his own property. But I offered that to him. I said, would you like to do this yourself? And as long as they're all out, I'm
Is it
like,
just
okay. if
this
they're
piece
fine,
right
he didn't
here?
want to do that either. So he agrees he needs to come out. He just says, there's ways of doing it that,
I'd say, my opinion, have Tony send him a letter and offer he can get his own contractor or
No,
she's not even,
Do you wanna give him the option to do it in 10 days?
Yeah, if he wants,
I mean,
he wants to get his own contractors.
if he wants to pull all the log jams out of the flow path of the creek within a certain timeline, then we're
Him
okay,
pay
but
for it is what, you know,
yeah,
his,
I give him a month or so to do it. If he doesn't operate in that month, Gilbert, I want to get the section no more here. I don't want to come back and,
Right.
You don't want them down.
Cause then you gotta pay them to come back.
Pay them to come back. It's gonna be more expensive.
which, like I said, after talking with him, I don't know if there's any way of rationally dealing with how to go about that, you know what I mean?
so if we have a motion. Or do you want to try and do it, or do you? You
I
don't
think I'd rather have Tony do it. I mean, it's so,
Yeah.
I just don't feel,
You've already tried.
I tried to reason and I'm like, I just don't think there's gonna be a lot of, I don't know how serious he is. You know, is he really serious? I don't know.
I think if he's really serious, then he'll get his own, find his own way to get, I mean, it'd be cheaper to have.
He also wanted us
It'd be
to
cheaper have
contact
it.
him when we were gonna do it, so he'd be here while they were doing it, which is actually the opposite I wanted to have happen, I'd rather than not be here, because I don't want him telling the contractor that we're
Right.
paying how to do his job. Because he asked me, he's like, why aren't you out here watching? I said, I'm not micromanaging the contractors we hire. They're the guys that have been doing it for 25 years. I sure as heck ain't gonna tell them how to pull a log jam, soaking trees, logs in there, how to pull it out.
There are some fairly steep ditch banks in here too,
Very steep, very dangerous.
20 feet,
Thing
15,
right
20
here,
feet.
you can see it. from the
Yeah.
road.
It gets higher, yeah. He wants nothing to be done, but I said, we can't hire a helicopter and winch these things out here. It's just not realistic to do it in a way that he thinks it should be done. You know what I'm saying? It's,
What's Corey doing this afternoon?
Put your waders on and go in the ditch and hook them up.
through there, it's rough. It's really rough going.
I'm just kidding,
How
Corey.
far are you going on each side? South?
We're doing the whole thing. There's jams all the way down through
They're
there.
just taking the jams, they're not clearing the trees.
We have to cut certain trees to get to the jams though. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're not clear cutting it.
There's,
We're cutting-
there's
we
no
have
way
get in a
to,
swing because we have a spot, there's 5 trees down. You gotta have an area clear to pull them out and then throw off the side.
it's not an option to come from the other side of the,
We're gonna have to do that side too. Problem is it's so steep.
Yeah.
You have to go from each side.
Really?
So when the crops come off on that side, we'll be going on that side too. We just don't have for more crops. So I said, do this side, so there's no crops in it. And then when the crops come off, we'll jump on their side and go up that side. So we're doing where we can work from, because you can't reach them hardly. You have to get a long reach in there, and to get a long reach, you have to cut every tree down to swing.
To swing.
So either you go both sides with a big mini excavator, or you take a long reach and just clear the whole thing, which that really get people riled up. Here to do.
Mhm.
This is less intensive and not quite as costly to do, so.
That lasts a lot longer.
is there sand piles that have sloughed into through this part or no?
I mean, it's always eroding because I mean, they got banks like this, it's eroding, but no drainage issues on this section besides the jams. We're,
You're
After
not
all the
talking about
jams out-
dipping it, you're just talking about getting the trees out.
after you get all the trees out, what we're gonna have to do probably is we're gonna have to go and survey the whole flow line and see where their high spots are at, because there are some high spots, you can just tell by looking. I wanna know, do we need to like dredging the whole thing, just focus on a couple sections, because certain sections got big sandbars, other ones are fine. But without getting the trees out, it's hard to tell where the water level is. Once the trees are out, we'll know we can get down through there, and actually traverse it, right? We can hardly get through their kayaks, it was some bushwhacking we did to get through there, it was terrible.
You got photos of it?
We flew the drone over a couple parts of it, and I took pictures on the kayak trip as best I could, I don't lose my phone.
Then do you have any photos of the parts that's already done?
I can get those.
Yeah, just if he does file a lawsuit, I'd like to have
Yep.
evidence of what it looks like before. and-
Correct, that's what we've been trying to do is more.
Okay,
So,
I'd like to see this in a motion, please.
Want me to write the letter?
I move to authorize Tony to write a letter to the landowner.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second authorizing Terry to write a letter of things we've discussed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
and do you guys have any questions? For me at all?
Do you have one more?
I think that was it. Brian, next meeting.
Okay.
One quick question before we go adjourn here is, me, Tony and Ben, I think Zachary coming tomorrow with us? Round table.
To the round table, I'm planning on it.
You guys have any other questions? Zach and Ben, myself and Tony go. I have a list of, questions and I got some more to go through the discussion. Do you have anything specific you'd like to know about the Cume Drain Fund?
What all does it exclude? I remember the last
So,
meeting was something
yeah.
about towns and,
So we're getting more details. Tony, go ahead.
okay.
I think just parcels that are in towns. So if it's in one, Pokeville, Shipshewana, Topeka, LaGrange,
Mhm.
then those parcels are excluded. We can try to get them to pass a similar ordinance so that they can contribute to it, but all those parcels would not be part of the collection for the county.
My
Oh, yeah, any
Churches.
non-for-profits, yeah, churches, non-for-profits would be
Cemeteries.
excluded also, yeah.
I guess my way of thinking was, so where does all the water flow to that comes off the towns?
And
Directly- Directly into the ditches.
Yeah,
Can
so-
can you, if you do the cumulative, and let's say we're gonna be paid for it, come through, clean it through town,
oh dear,
can we,
that's the one that goes through Shipsy.
It's really designed,
oh, not
the
maybe
way that I
that
looked
page.
at it,
I
it
didn't-
looked like it was designed to be a supplement to, like, the cumulative drain fund would be kind of a supplement to the assessments, but I know that that's not really what we have in mind
I
here.
meant Fly Creek, I'm
So
sorry.
we can,
So-
Tony's right, if we have a project, we can use Cume Drain money, and then if we have a project that's way high, it's like, hey, this should be living a little bit towards some stuff there, I think we have the right to have a public hearing to have an assessment, we still do what we're doing, but on the small, what we're trying to get rid of is they go out there and.
But we could, if we had to do a cleaning project through LaGrange, could we assess people in LaGrange, do a public hearing and send them
I
letters
believe
and
so.
go back to where we used to,
I think so.
if
Or-
we need to.
Okay.
Or you go about and you go to towns and say, this is what we're charging other parcels on assessment, would you guys be willing to do that? And certain places have said, no, I'm okay with certain places like the Bar Tile and the Sarah Davis, just vacate them and let the towns take care of them. So that way.
Which one does the Sarah Davis run through?
Because if they don't wanna pay, if they wanna pay us to maintain them, then we will just not maintain them.
That's just Shipsy.
Well, that's, I guess, to me, it doesn't seem fair.
Sarah Davis is the one that runs through the.
I mean, the towns are draining,
They make the most water.
absolutely, and there's no retention pond or detention pond. I mean, they just blast right into the ditches and we're
Asphalt
like,
and cement,
right,
basically.
yeah, it is.
So there's a couple options here.
Right.
that we can vacate those tiles. You guys can say, since we're not getting money for them, we have the right to petition to vacate. You guys as a board says, since you guys are funding money for these tiles and drains, we're gonna vacate the costly ones like the Sarah Davis, the Bar Tile.
Page.
You guys deal. The town will have to pay for the reconstruction and oversee it all. If not, they're town funds.
Now, would we vacate just the sections that are in town limits?
Have to discuss that. Each tile, each system would probably be a little different. But,
Oof.
But if we vacate those, what all is it gonna affect upstream?
Well, we have
That's
to look-
my
we have to
concern.
look at the ones, like the Sarah Davis is just coming from the town, top of the watershed. Bar Tile, same thing. The couple of ones like Fly Creek, we'd probably keep because it's right through town, it starts way up there.
Starts,
So
yeah.
it kind of depends. Most of them we could probably vacate except Fly Creek. I looked at them all right already, so, that's the only one.
And
that's
that's probably my largest concern.
But
is,
if we
I mean,
vacate them, we can't, we don't have rights to control them. either.
Right,
like,
exactly.
certain ones we don't have any control because the only person affected is people in town. So if we look at a case by case basis, obviously we're not gonna vacate them all, but the ones that are serving just the town's people.
So
why
I
should
guess
we-
the thing, one's main question is then we need to ask how they're handling that and
Right, check, see how that, I
how
mean,
they're doing that.
So,
because like you said, it's all hard surface. I mean, it's not like it's running across.
It's either driveway,
Right,
limestone, or
limestone
cement.
or concrete, and
That's
it's,
Asphalt.
if I know the towns, right, they're not gonna do any more work than they have to do.
no.
So I think they'll either do the special assessment on a public hearing, a place like that, or we get them to assess and pitch and assess that, like, if we go that route. We find a way to work with them as best we can. If they want us to keep maintaining them, but they have to pay.
Right,
We're not just gonna maintain
right,
pro bono, just
No,
because. it's
just
not-
because we're nice.
Yeah.
I guess,
I agree.
I guess vacating, I think it's gonna open it to further chaos. Just simply because something needs to be
So-
done and they're
so-
not willing to work with us and it's.
So yes and no, because our regulated drains were regulated in the 1900s, most of them 1920s,
Mhm.
the rural county. Shipshewana, if you look at the 1958 aerials, there's nothing.
Right.
These tiles were put in farm fields.
Right.
Now they're storm drains basically acting
Mhm.
as. So It's an incorporated town, they have their own tax base. They probably should be responsible since they're no longer, I guess, farm rule drains.
Correct.
They're storm drains for the town. They probably should be stepping up and maintaining those because they're servicing their people. And it's a special tax district.
mhm.
So I'm okay with doing some of them in a sense because of that reason.
Mhm.
They're no longer rural farm drains.
Right.
These things are highly developed storm drains for the
Mhm.
town itself, you know.
So something like that needs to be worked out ahead of time, because like in the case of the bar, it goes for several miles through farm fields after the town of Topeka, and just vacating them.
We vacate the top and only. Where it leaves town.
I know,
limits.
but you're just gonna shut it off?
We don't maintain that
just-
section.
Well, it's still gonna run into a maintained section of,
You're right.
So we have to look on a case by case basis. It's not like a one size.
I mean, like if you got
Right.
junk going in there from town
correct.
and then the guy down the stream's
Places
getting.
in town right
Right.
now, the other stuff's gonna last
We've got a long,
100 years.
we're way a little ahead
Right.
of.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those are things you need to find out how other counties
I
deal
don't
with.
mind replacing it. Replacing out the rural places way cheaper.
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to go through town and cross one road, you saw that little section's 100. I could get a mile and a half of regular tile put in the ground. For
Yes.
500.
More than that,
State
probably.
Road 5 in Shipshewana, was the county responsible for any of that when they redid State Road 5 in Shipshe? When they redid that last year, the
Yeah, they got
drainage,
permits to cross and tie and put new crossings.
but it
across.
wasn't, we weren't
We,
We
weren't
didn't pay for it.
responsible for any of it.
No.
NDOT
And not paid
probably,
for that,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Mhm.
So,
Okay.
if you guys think of any questions between now and then, just email me, or call me, doesn't matter.
What time do you guys, is that tomorrow?
Why don't we meet?
we'll talk about it after. Let's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Zach? I move to adjourn.
Second.
Second motion, and second to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
9:00. Look at that.
10 minutes. Start.
25 minutes. One week here.
You told me it was gonna be 10 minutes.
You could have left it 10 like you usually do. It's in.
Taking a minute.